Getting ready to make pasta primavera. I washed all these vegetables here. And right now I'm going to cook the pasta. I'm going to be doing 9 ounces of pasta. So I'm going to bring a couple quarts of water to a rolling boil for each pound, about a half a pound. I got plenty of water in there. So add pasta and return to boil, stirring occasionally. Boil uncovered 10 to 12 minutes or until desired doneness. It's very important when you make pasta primavera that you cook the pasta al dente. That means as soon as it's done, take it out and run cold water over it because you don't want it to be mushy. Okay, let's go ahead and while I'm going to multitask here. So while I'm waiting for the water to boil, let's go ahead and start prepping the vegetables. And I need a vegetable peeler. Why didn't I think of this? Obviously, I know I need a vegetable peeler. I've had this vegetable peeler since the 1980s. I got it from my mother. It works beautiful. I threw away one of the old carrots because it looked kind of old, so it's not worth it. Let me cut off the ends of these. These are older carrots. But let me just cut off the ends before I peel them. Yeah, so I'm going to cut off the ends of these carrots. I want to make sure I only got fresh carrot in here. So I'll cut off the ends. And I'll do this for all the carrots. And then I'm going to... Okay, the recipe calls for 6 ounces of vegetables here. I definitely have more than 6 ounces. Let me guesstimate here. I'm trying to triple the recipe because I need to make sure I cook just the right amount of pasta because the proportions are important to get the right flavor. I think I've got about 18 ounces here. This looks like, that would be a little bit over a pound. Yeah, this looks like about 18 ounces, so I think I'm in the good ballpark here. So that means the amount of pasta that I need to cook would be triple the recipe. So that would be, the recipe calls for 3 ounces, so we're going to go with 9 ounces of pasta. And this has got 16 ounces, so a little bit over a half of this is what I'm going to need to cook. A little bit over half of this, because this is 16 ounces. Okay, I cut off all the ends. Now I'm going to get my peeler, and I'm going to peel the carrots. Let's see if I can show you the garbage. I have to use a tripod here. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to get the let's go ahead and peel these carrots. I obviously want to peel them because you know, I don't want this nasty skin in pasta primavera. So we're going to go ahead and... This is a great peeler, by the way. I've had this since the 1980s. I got it from my mother. It's like I used to buy some other peelers in the 1990s. They just don't make things the way they used to. It's my favorite peeler. Maybe I'll have it for the rest of my life. I don't know. It still works good. I don't know how they made this peeler, but it is good. Anyways, I'm going to do it for all of the carrots. Take the skin off here. So let me just go ahead and do that. I gouged out a nasty part there. See? Just kind of like went in like that and took it out. So, yeah, sometimes you got to do stuff like that, you know. Okay, the carrots are all peeled, and that water sounds like it's about to boil. I might let it go a little bit longer. What I'm going to do, I'm going to prepare the snow peas. I'm going to slice the mushrooms. The carrots and the squash need to be, the recipe says they should be peeled, or what I do is I mince them, I make them very, very tiny. You'll see what I do. Because with pasta primavera, you want your carrots and your squash to be very small. Because it gives it a better flavor that way. So I'll work on the, let's see, the squash. Yeah, this is something that I want to make right away after grocery shopping because I like my vegetables These carrots I stored in bubble wrap, and they're still good. Let's go ahead and cut the ends off of this. Okay. Get ready to, I'm going to slice these very, very small. Let's go ahead and take that out. I'm picky. You say, man, you don't, I'm not going to worry about that one there. Yeah, that looks a little tacky. Oops. Don't do that. Let's go ahead and take that off. Yeah, that's good. Kind of investigate my vegetables and see how I like them. This is why I like them to be fresh. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I think I'm going to put these over here for right now. I'll get to them later. Let's work on the squash right now. Actually, I think it's, time for me to work on the pasta. Okie dokie. The water here is boiling good. We're going to put in about half of a container. You do not add salt with this recipe, okay? That's good. That's about a little bit over half, maybe a little bit more. Because it was kind of filled up to 3/4 of the way. Yeah, that'll be about right, I think. Let me take a little bit more. Yeah, that's about right, okay? So we're going to let it boil for about 10 minutes, and then I'll drain it. I'll have this right here ready. Let me get something else out that I need. I like to use this. Kind of keep everything spread apart. The recipe says to keep it in cold water after it's cooked, but I usually do it Japanese style, and what I do is that I just rinse it off in cold water and leave it in the colander and just periodically run cold water over it. I guess the reason they say that, they just say to add some cold water to the hot water, but I don't want to do that. I guess the reason they do that is to make sure it stays apart. Yeah. Okay. Well, here's a trick that I do to make sure it stays apart. I use this. Okay, let me get back to work on the squash. Okay, I just noted the time. It's about 1:23, so at about 1:30, I need to go check up on that pasta, and I might check up on it before then. Now, what I'm going to do with the squash is it's supposed to be shredded. I'm just going to cut it very, very small. And this is the way I usually make it, and I've made this before, and it works out very, very nice. Let's try cutting it in half. I just cut it very, very small. Yeah, I think I can do that. Let me see. Yeah, that's firm. That's not going to kill any. There's nothing soft here, so that'll be fine. So what I do is I go like, cut it very, very small. The hardest part about all this recipe is all the chopping you have to do. Once you get the vegetables prepared, the rest of it is not that hard. And it's very important not to overcook the pasta. You do not want mushy pasta in pasta primavera, which is probably why they insist on having the vegetables. Okay. You might say you could use a shredder. Yeah, I could, but I actually like doing it this way. It's a little extra work, but it's worth it. It's worth it for the flavor. When I cook, I like to taste my food. There we go. That's how I'm going to do it, just like that. About that size there. Let me get me something to put that in. Now I'm going to swish the pasta around, make sure it's not sticking together. I'm multitasking here. Okay. Yeah. Let's go back to this now. All right. Let's go ahead and put this in here. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. This is the way I've made it before. I never follow my recipes 100%. I get, with experience, I find my own way of doing things. Like I'm going to do something special with these snow peas that the recipe doesn't even call for, but just something that I've learned from experience in dealing with Snopies. Yeah, I'm going to put another one over here. Ah, shucks. This recipe's kind of time consuming. Boy, is it good though when it's done. I've made it before. All right. Yeah, you got to cut it teeny weeny. Gives the squash a nice flavor when you get it into the pasta primavera. That'll work. All right. Kind of like the equivalent of shedding, you know. I mean shredded vegetables. Just really small. Yeah. Okay. There's that. You said that's a lot of work. Yep, it is. It's a lot of work, but this is really good. This dish is not really that complicated. The hardest part is the cutting. Preparing, and you might say, well, maybe you could make it without the squash. Oh, but this tastes really good with fresh squash. I have to have it with squash. It's really good with squash. So just kind of like that. It's really good with squash. I always make pasta primavera with yellow squash. I love it. This is good enough. Okay. Let's go this way. Just kind of like chop it small. Like I said, I like to taste my food when I cook. That's good. That'll work. So basically, I'm going to keep on doing this for the rest of the squash. I'm not going to make you watch me do this whole time because it's time consuming. And then when I'm done, I will start filming again. Last time I used pasta, I used Barilla. But I think this will work fine. I just want to make sure. Sometimes I don't listen to it. It needs to cook a little bit more. Yeah. I want to make sure I do not overcook it. Yeah, it needs to cook a little bit more. I'm making sure it stays separated. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to stay on top of this because the pasta is very important for this recipe. Do not want to overcook the pasta. It needs to be al dente. What that means is when it's done, when you bite into it, it should be a little bit firm. It's actually done, and it's been about 10 minutes, and I checked some of it, and yeah, it's pretty much done. I checked some of it. Don't want to overcook it, so we're going to take it off right now. Let's get the colander in there. Don't want to overcook it. Just go ahead and drain it. Okie dokie. Let's turn the heat off. Yep, it's pretty much done. Oh, the water's not drained. Ah. There's something down here stopping it. I don't like that. See if I can pluck this thing up. There we go. There's the sink here. Okay. Let me just check it. I'm really picky about the pasta in this recipe. You have to be if you want it to be good. Let's try it. Let's check it out. Run that cold water through. Stop the cooking. It's perfect. It's al dente. Perfect. It's al dente. And then you got to understand that once it starts cooking in the pot, with the vegetable, the pasta is going to cook some more, so you definitely do not want to overcook the pasta. Okay, it is currently at al dente. I'm going to run cold water through it to stop the cooking process. But that's a Japanese trick I've learned. Well, I'm sure the Japanese are not the only ones who do this. Okay. Yep, it's done. Actually, I think this great value pasta is going to work out pretty good. There it is. Yep. Just leave it there, and it'll be ready when I need it. We're getting there. I ran the knife through a knife sharpener. Yeah. Yeah, because I just want to make sure it's really sharp. This is an old knife, so I kind of like to keep it sharp. Let's go ahead and finish cutting up this other one. I'll let you watch me cut this. I have my own way of doing this. It's kind of like my technique with the knife, so I'll let you watch me. Chopping is the big part of this one. Even though the recipe says shredded, I think it gives it better flavor when I cut the squash and the carrots like this. Okay, so I like my food, I like all my recipes where you can taste the food, you know. Now, this is kind of fat here, so let's kind of go this way. Oops, no sauce. Oh, that's just the way squash looks. It had a line in it. Okay. Just the right size. I like to taste the food in all my recipes, so you can, these pieces are big enough where you can taste the squash, but it won't overpower the other parts of the pasta primavera. This is good. This is pretty good size here. I like this. I got some that are small, some that are a little bit bigger, and I kind of bring it over this way. I sharpened the knife, so it's working a little bit better than it was before. That's good. Let's see. It's kind of like line them up so I can figure out, put those separate. Yeah, I can go like this now, like this. Yeah, that's a good size. Squash, I love pasta primavera with squash. You don't have to make it with squash, but I love it with squash. Okay. It's one of my favorite Italian recipes. And this makes a great leftover cold salad, by the way. And I am making enough for leftovers, by the way. It looks like I'll be making another recipe today because my avocados are getting ripe, so I'll be making a salad with romaine lettuce and some other, but I'll talk about that in another video. Let's go. That's kind of my own recipe. All right, that other one. Okay, that's good. That's good. Put this all in here. So I basically do the same thing for the rest of it, and that's basically how I cut up the squash. Basically, we're going to do the same thing to the carrots. And here's the squash. It's all done. Chopped up, I mean. Let's see. Basically, going to do the same thing to the carrots, about the same size. Okay. Basically the same thing. The carrots might be able to be a little bit bigger because they're kind of hard to chop. So yeah, because they're harder, you know. Yeah, basically the same thing with the carrots, about the same size. Yep, that's good. So I'm going to get them about that size. The recipe actually said to use shredded, or yeah, but I prefer to do it. I like to take something about crunchy carrots and pasta primavera. And one thing about pasta primavera is you don't want to overcook anything. Like you don't want to overcook the pasta, you don't want to overcook the vegetables. So when it comes time to fry them, it's okay if you almost think of it like you're making a salad in a way. Because it's, a lot of people treat this like a salad when it's done. So, okay, so, yeah, so basically I'm going to do the same thing to all the carrots. And this is a good size. I don't want shredded carrots, that's too thin. I like my carrots a little crunchy in pasta primavera, so. All right, carrots are done. Now I'm going to work on the mushrooms. Now the recipe just says sliced mushrooms. So let me see, I got to cut it in a way where I think it'll have good flavor. Actually, let's kind of go like this. Yeah, I think about sliced like about like that would be good. I don't want these cut as small as the, yeah, that's good, about that size. Let me go ahead and get a container for that. Usually when I make pasta primavera, I have a separate container for each vegetable. So let me go ahead and put this in here. Yep. Yeah, that's about the right size. Yeah, a couple of them smaller I'm gonna kill. That's this is a good size. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop up the mushrooms just like you see here. And yeah, that's a good size. And then when I'm done, I'll continue. Okay, the mushrooms are done. That's about the right size. Now I'm going to prepare, let's kind of lay these over here for right now. I've noticed something about snow peas, and I know this from Chinese cooking. They can get stringy. Let me see if these are old. Aha, you see that? I always like to pull that off if I can, because when you eat them, sometimes they're stringy. I think that's okay. So let me go ahead and, yeah, I think I'll stick them in there. So I'm going to go ahead and just test them and just make sure that all the strings are gone. Sometimes I'll do it on this end too, because sometimes it can't. Nah, I don't need to worry about it. These are pretty fresh. It said they were washed already. These are, sometimes you don't need to do it. You only need to do it if they're old snow peas, and these seem like they're pretty young. So if they're pretty fresh, yeah, these are seed like that. Because if you don't take the strings out, then what's going to happen is when people eat it, they're going to have the strings. This one I'm going to try on this end too. Yeah. Take the strings out. That makes it a better eating experience. You don't have these stringy snow peas to eat. They can get pretty stringy. These younger ones are usually not a problem. It's usually the older ones that are kind of, this one will be good. This one feels like it might be stringy. Nah, it's good. Sometimes you can tell by feeling them. That one should be good. Like if they're fresh off the vine, then they're usually good. I actually picked some, this one's old. It's kind of stringy. I actually, when I visited my friends in San Francisco, they had a snow pea trellis in their backyard. And oh, they made the most delicious snow peas. Fresh off the vine, you know, so you just do the best you can. These are pretty fresh, I can tell. So it's like I don't need to worry about. See, look at the stringies. If you can pull that off, it'll be a better eating experience. This is an old one, I can tell, see? So I try to pull the strings off. So basically, but I think the snow peas are better left whole for the pasta primavera, so I'm not going to cut them up. There we go. I'm just going to prep them a little bit. Now that one's okay. I'm testing them for stringiness. So anyways, I'll be doing this for all the snow peas, and then when I'm done, I'll have them all transferred over here. There they are. You can't always get all of them, but you do the best you can, you know. You can see all the stringies that I got in there. Right there. There they are. The next step, I got to prepare the garlic. Now the purpose for the garlic in pasta primavera is to flavor the oil that you will saute the vegetables and pasta in. So even though the recipe doesn't say what to do with them, I think my best bet is crushed garlic. And always use fresh garlic, and always use fresh lemon juice for this recipe. Nothing else will work. Absolutely fresh. That's the reason I don't get any of this ready-made jarred stuff. Okay, so I want to have fresh crushed garlic. So I'm probably going to have to do maybe 2 or 3 batches. So let's just kind of like go like this. And I want to mash the garlic so that when it goes into the skillet, it's going to give maximum garlic flavor into the Yeah, kind of like smash it, crush the garlic. Your goal is to have maximum garlic flavor in that oil. And it's very important when you cook garlic in Italian cooking that you do not overcook the garlic. Yep, because then it ruins the flavor of the oil. So I'll make sure I do that. Yeah, I'm preparing the garlic. I think I'll stick it in here. I'm going to stick it in here. Actually, I think I'm cutting it a little too small, because you want this to be smashed so that the garlic flavor permeates the oil. Yeah, that's pretty good. The recipe would require 1 clove of garlic for like every 3 ounces of pasta. I'm actually cutting back just a little bit on the garlic because I don't want to have diarrhea issues. Too many garlic and onions, even though I love them. This is a good size here. Yeah. All right, that's good. I think I'm cutting my garlic a little bit too small here. Yep. I'm crushing it because I want the garlic flavor to get into the oil. So that's probably the best way to do it. For this recipe, if you use anything other than fresh garlic and fresh lemon juice, you will ruin it. It will not work. Has to be fresh garlic. Like I'm, so as you can see, this is fresh. These are the garlics that I stored in my brown paper bag, so from almost several weeks ago, but they still look pretty good. Yeah, just this is fresh. Okay, what I think I'm going to do with this is kind of like go like this. That'll work. Yeah, and then just kind of like crush it. I used to have a better knife for crushing back in the 1990s. I had what you call it. I don't know what it was, a thicker knife than this, but I've learned how to make do with this. Yeah, I want to crush the garlic so the flavor will get into the oil. There we go. If you got like a big thick knife that you can press down on like this, that would work great. Yeah, that's good. Crush it. The trick is get the garlic flavor into the oil and do not overcook the garlic. Okay, let's just go ahead and finish this for the rest of the garlic. For this one, I'm actually putting my whole body weight on the knife, kind of like I'm standing up to do this, to crush this well. That's what I'm doing. Like I'm putting my whole body weight on the knife right here. I'm standing up to do this. This works better as standing up, especially if you don't have the right kind of knife. Like I used to have a really thick chef's knife. So I'm standing up, leaning my body into the knife. Okay. That should make some nice flavored olive oil for this. I crushed this as fresh lemon juice that I made yesterday. I need like 2 teaspoons per batch. I think I'm going to mash it. I'm going to get some more lemon juice. Let me get another fresh lemon and make me some more lemon juice. Regarding citrus, when you get it at the store, try to pick one that's heavy for its size, and that usually is going to have a thinner skin and more juice in it. Like this one's kind of heavy for its size, and I'm feeling it, and there's like a slight give all the way around, so this is going to have a thinner skin and more lemon juice in it. Okay, just cut it in half. Make sure I don't have garlic on it. Garlic, yeah, let's make sure the garlic is off the knife, yeah. Even though I use garlic for a lot of I might be using this lemon juice for other recipes that don't require garlic, so I better make sure that's good. Okay. So let's go ahead and put this, that's okay, I can use that. Let's go get the juicer. It's up here. I just used this yesterday, but apparently I'm going to need to juice another lemon. What I did is I actually made a pretty good fruit salad. I might show you how I did it. I put lemon juice on my bananas to try to keep them from going brown, and it actually made them taste good. I kind of created my own recipe here. Yeah, see, look at that. See that? I was right. Yep. It's got a pretty thin skin, and it's going to be a pretty juicy lemon here. So let's go ahead and get that lemon juice. Yeah, I do things the old-fashioned way, you know. I don't have any of these fancy machines where I do it. I just do it this way. You say, you're not getting it. Oh, there's juices coming out. I know they have fancy machines to do this, but I live kind of like these 19th century women, you know. So, I never bought a fancy machine to juice my lemons. I just do it this way. Yep. Yep. Looks like I pretty much got everything. Yep, throw that out. Let's do this side. Yep. Oh, you gotta have fresh lemon juice for Italian cooking. It's like none of this reconstituted lemon. Sometimes I use. No, you gotta have fresh lemons. It makes the dish, and fresh garlic. It just won't taste good any other way. Okay, I'll do the same thing. Oops. I think I pretty much got it. Don't see any much more juice coming out of this thing. Yeah, that's good. Kind of push all the juice down there. Ha! All right. Now, I'm going to store the juice. And this is a perfect size little jar to store the juice in. Yep. That's perfect. Perfect. Yeah, that'll be enough lemon juice for this recipe. I like to use enough lemon juice for this recipe because the lemon juice makes the dish, but you pretty much need to follow the recipe about 2 teaspoons per 3 ounces of vegetables and 6 ounces of pasta. All right. Here's what I stored those carrots in. Those carrots are like a couple weeks old, but they look pretty good. I did have to throw one out though, but that's how I keep them in bubble wrap. That keeps them a long time. Okie dokie. Let's get some olio olive, as the Italians call it. And I need a teaspoon. You know, I probably don't need to measure it. Yeah, let's, first thing I'm going to do is heat the olive oil over medium heat. They say a teaspoon of olive oil. Yeah, maybe I'll measure it. I can live with a teaspoon, you know. Teaspoon of olive oil. Where am I going to put this? Okay. Let's go ahead, medium heat. That'd be about right here, because you don't want to overcook the olive oil. So, okay, yeah, right about there. When it gets to medium heat, I'll turn the camera back on. Okay. So let's go ahead and put in, I'm going to pretty much follow the recipe on this one, because the recipe seems pretty good. Teaspoon oil in a large skillet. I'm going to do 1/3 at a time because the recipe does say to use a large skillet, and I can see why when I look at how many vegetables I have to deal with. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, you definitely need to use the full teaspoon. I can see that. Put a little bit more in there. Okay. This is a metal measuring spoon. Okay, let's go ahead and heat it up a little bit. Go Okay, I've got enough garlic here. I actually have a little bit less garlic than the recipe calls for, because I don't want to go overboard on garlic here. Just enough to flavor the oil. I gotta have enough for 2 more batches though. So let's see. Yeah, that should do it. And then you got that right there. Yep, that's good. Okay, so until it just turns brown, and then until golden. You don't want to burn it, but you do want it to go golden. In some ways I like a gas stove because you can control the heat better, but I do the best I can with what I have, you know. Let's get it up here. Yeah. Get this we're going to get this garlic flavor throughout the oil here. We're sauteing it. I'm not going to show you for every single batch I make, but I'll be doing this probably 2 more times. And then I will show you the final product when I'm done. It looks like I'm going to put it up on about 7 on my stove. Yep. And you do not want to overcook the vegetables in this dish. Until it's golden. Oh, just about there. I have it on 7, and the highest temperature is 10. So this is kind of like medium. Okay. Yeah, you can keep swishing it around because you don't want it to burn. Okay, I think it's pretty good there. Yep, it's ready for me to add the vegetables. Okay, add the vegetables and cook until just tender. About 1/3 of each. About 1/3 of each. That's good. About 1/3 of this. I got a lot of squash. Start swishing it around a bit for the onions so that the garlic doesn't burn. That's good. About 1/3 of the of this. Good. And about 1/3 of the mushrooms. Because I don't. Yeah, that's good. All right. Let me go ahead and run the pasta through some water again. Make sure it's not sticking. Pasta seems to be in good shape. All right. All right. Put that over there. And this will keep falling here. All right. Okay, we only stirring occasionally cook about 2 to 3 minutes. I usually cook it a little longer than that. I set the temperature up to 7.5. 7's good. This is often used like a salad. So about 2 to 3 minutes. what the Italians will do is they'll make this and they eat the cold leftovers like a salad. Well, that looks good, man. That looks good. You have to use fresh vegetables for this dish. Frozen vegetables would not work. Gotta be fresh. About 2 to 3 minutes. Oh, now I need to find some sort of container to put this in, huh, Jesus? Do I have anything? What about what Clark gave me? I don't think that's quite big enough. I think I'll just go ahead and use my, these things. Yeah, I'll put it in there. Occasionally. It's been about 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, let's go ahead and do the rest. Season with lemon juice and pepper. Okay, we're going to use 2 teaspoons of fresh lemon juice. Let's use all lemon juice. I'm pretty much going to follow the recipe on this one because I think this recipe is pretty good here. Actually, let me add just a tad bit more because I think I got a little bit more vegetables than I'm supposed to have. Okay, I put in 3 teaspoons. That won't kill. I'm certain it's going to make it good. All right, and some pepper. Doesn't say salt. The recipe doesn't say salt, but let me tell you, it's because it's out of the American Heart Association cookbook. I'm going to add a tad of salt. Yeah, you know. Just a little bit. And if you don't like it, you can go ahead and add, you know, you can add how much salt you want. Just a little bit of salt there. Okay, now I'm going to put in about 1/3 of the pasta. So let's just go ahead and throw that in right now. Yeah, that's good. All right, now let's mix it all together. Boy, Brent's going to have a treat today. Usually I have to add salt to this when I eat it. I just went ahead and added a little bit of salt. I didn't put in a lot though, so people will probably want to add salt to it. Okay, it's done. It is done. That looks good, doesn't it? Now let me go ahead and take this out, and I'm going to go ahead and get ready to do the second batch. All right, let's go ahead and put it in here. Brent's gonna love this. This is a delicious way to eat vegetables and pasta. Got 2 more batches to make. There it is. Doesn't that look good? Okay, I'll make some more batches. There it is. And let me just show you what it looks like in the pan. Right there. That looks good, doesn't it? Okay. I'm going to make 2 more batches just like I made this one. Actually, for the second batch, I'm just doing them all at once. I have enough room, so I'm not doing it in 3 batches. Here's the second batch. And I did a last minute decision, but apparently a good one. This is going to work. So, yeah, doing the second batch right now. Yeah, I decided to just do it all at once, so I'm doing it in 2 batches. Yeah, this will be good. I'll put it up to about 7.5 since the ideal temperature. Just a little bit more. That's pretty good, about 2-3 minutes there. Lemon juice, probably need to put in about 4 teaspoons of lemon juice, so let's just go ahead and maybe even 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, let's go with 5. 5, that'll work. All right. Then season with some pepper. I think I'm going to put in a little bit more salt this time because I tasted a little bit. You can barely taste the salt. So let's put in a little bit more salt. I gotta have my salt now. So yeah, just a little bit more salt here. But you know, the good thing about this recipe is you can add salt. So make it just like you like it. That's good enough. It's probably going to be a little low on salt anyway. Alright. The recipe does not call for salt. It's out of the American Heart Association cookbook, you guys. So, okay. Let's see here. Go ahead and add the pasta, and this one will be done. The rest of the pasta. Alright, put it up to about 8. Yep, I only had to do 2 batches. This worked. Perfect. So this will make great leftovers, like the leftovers make a great cold pasta salad. So this will be great leftovers. I used a little less garlic than the recipe called for because garlic and onions give me gas and diarrhea, so. So. But I think there's enough in there to give it a nice flavor, so it's good. Alright, turn the heat off. This is pretty much done. I think what I'm going to do is just bring this pan right on over to that little table and let my men take it right out of the pan. Yep. This is good. This is good. It is done. There it is. Pasta Primavera. I have it here on the pan so that my men can transport it over to Church of Gail. That's it right there. And now I'm going to try it out. All right. Here it is. Let's add a little bit of salt. I can tell I'm going to need salt. And I will let you know what this is like. It's usually really good. I've had this before. Before I usually use more lemon. Needs a little bit of salt. With the salt, it's good. Yep. If you add salt, it's good. You can definitely taste the food. Yep. Add salt, it's good. Very healthy. Very nutritious. The previous version I made used more garlic. So apparently following the recipe and using the amount of garlic they suggest is helpful, but it's not bad though. You kind of spread it around, and the garlic flavor gets in there. It's good. It's good. Just need some salt. They have an Italian word for this. I forget. Delizioso. It's good. Just need to add some salt. My men are gonna love this. I bet they're eating it at Church of Gail right now. Good.